Welcome back, math magicians. We're going to continue solving a system of linear equations by graphing. So we've already done this by walking all the way through problems that look like this. Now, what we're going to do is see when we get some wonky situations. So let's look at page 2 here. I'm going to look at both these problems and notice that this first one's in standard form and this second one is almost in slope-intercept form. Now, slope-intercept form is a little bit easier to graph because my slope, as we see, is -3 and my y-intercept is +5. So that's fairly easy to graph. I'm going to go over here to 5 and I go down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1, and I can keep going with that pattern like so and connect my dots la 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 until we get to there. Okay, now what do we do about the second one here? Well, I notice this is in standard form, and if we recall when we do standard form, if I substitute a 0 in for y, I end up getting 15x equals 25, and I can repeat that process as well by substituting in a 0 for x and get 5y equals 25. I'll do the y first here, and we end up getting y equals 5. And up here, we end up getting a little bit uglier situation like so, which ends up being 5/3, and that is 1 2/3. I don't like that one, but it is what it is. So let's see. Let's graph those. Y equals 5. Y equals 5. Oh, nice. We already found the intersection maybe, yeah? And now I'm going to plot that one, which is 1 2/3. So when I connect my dots, notice what's happening here. It turns out that these two lines are precisely the same. So what do I do about that? There's no single point of intersection. So because we have the same line, my conclusion is infinitely many solutions, and I'll write that out. Many solutions. That's it. Nothing to check, nothing else. They're the same line. So let's see down here, and there are 3 scenarios that we ultimately will encounter. Number 1, when we have one solution. So we're graphing along, la 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 la, we graph that, and we graph that, and in the end, this right here is my solution. Okay, one solution. It works when it works. We've just seen this one, the infinitely many solutions, when we graph one line, and then we graph another one on top, and it turns out that they're the same line. So our conclusion, we think in our heads, oh, they're the same line, so our conclusion is infinitely many solutions. Okay, lastly, what other scenario have we? Well, we might end up with something like this, where I graph my first line, and when I graph the second one, it's just running alongside it, like a train track. In other words, these two are parallel. So I think in my head, oh, they're parallel. As a result, there is no solution because there never is an intersection point. All right, now attack, kill, destroy this problem right here and see what you get. Of course, your conclusion here is no solution because the lines end up being parallel. All right, the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to walk through an example here about application. So, suppose you have $20 in your, in your bank account. You start saving $5 each week. Your friend has $5 in his account and is saving $10 each week. Assuming neither of you make withdrawals when we have the same amount. Another assumption, too, is we're not earning interest, okay? So how much will you have saved? So let's consider the first situation, equation number 1, and that's going to be me. I start with $20, so that's my initial amount, $20. And I'm saving $5 each week. Notice the each week part is extremely important because that expresses a rate. $5 per week. So there's my unit, dollars over weeks. So there we go. So my rate is $5. So what's the equation going to look like? The amount of money that I have is going to be $5 per week times the number of weeks plus $20 that I begin with. So let's do the same thing over here. My friend has $5 in his account and is saving $10 per week. So let's plug things in. $5 to begin with, and $10 here. So Y, the amount of money he has, is $10 per week plus the initial $5. So let's take a moment and graph these. Notice that we can't have negative dollar, well, we might, but we're not going to do negative dollars nor negative weeks. We're not going to go back in time. So this one here is going to be week 1, week 2, week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now notice here, we don't know how high we have to go because $20 is what we start off with, and we don't know how high. So maybe we're going to count by fives here, although we might need to make an adjustment there. So over here is going to be dollars. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Okay, so let me graph this. The first one starts out at $20 here, but goes up $5 in right 1. So beware, since our units changed here, I'm going up 5 and right 1. What? Isn't that up 1, right 1? Nope, it's up 5 and right 1, because from 20 to 25 and right 1 week. So there we go. So that means all we're doing is going up 5, right 1, up 5, right 1. So again, use a straight edge here. It's best to make as accurate as possible. All right, continuing on. Now this one here starts at 5, but goes up $10 right 1. So up $10, $5, $10 right 1. $5, $10 right 1. So in this case, if I count the boxes, I go up 2 right 1, like this. Oh, we see a crossing, and there we go. And that's the point. We're looking for when they cross. And they have to cross at some point, right? Why do I know they have to cross? Because although I have more money to begin with, I'm saving less each week. So we estimate right here, we estimate this point to be where? Well, 3, 35. So 3 and 35. So in other words, at 3 weeks, both of us will have $35. And there we go. So let's just double check real quick though. Here, let's see, 3 weeks. If I plug 3 here, $15 plus 20. Good, that is 35. Now 3 weeks here gives me 30 plus 5. Great, so perfect, also 35. So please take a moment now to work through both of these problems here. Ready, set, go. For this one, I suggest counting by weeks here, but over here, because the price is going to be a little bit more, my suggestion, the total amount saved is going to be a little more. Go up by a little bit more than that, than the 5s that we did. So let's see, 20s, going up by 20s, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, something like that. It just makes it a little bit awkward, so you're going to have to estimate a little bit on this one. Now, when you check the answers here, this is after 7 weeks, they will both have $125, and down here, the plants, after 4 days, they'll both be 17 centimeters tall. Thank you very much.